Good morning. Welcome back to the Broadcast Retirement Network. This is BRNAM for Tuesday, July 23rd, 2024. And our top story today, how to rein in those car insurance premiums. Joining me now to help break it all down, Ashley King is with State Farm Insurance. Ashley, so great to see you. Thanks so much for joining us on the program again this morning.
Thank you, Jeff, for having me back. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and we're going to be talking car insurance. We'll get into some tips, I think, in the second segment to help bring down the cost of car insurance. But Ashley, just taking a step back, I want to get your sense. You help individuals, companies, families find their insurance products. What can you tell us about the car insurance market today?
Sure. I think the market that we're in for auto insurance is that a lot of companies are seeing the cost to fix vehicles has increased, as well as the number of claims has increased. So rates are adjusting to kind of keep up with the increased number of claims. So we're seeing a lot more people shopping for auto insurance to make sure, one, that they've got the right coverage in place, but they're wanting to see what else is out there compared to the current company that they're with.
And when you look, does the price variation or volatility reflect on new or used vehicles, or a combination thereof?
Yeah, combination of both, right? Because with like the new vehicles, what we're seeing is, yes, they are safer, right? Because of all the safety features that they have, which is fantastic. But on the flip side, a little fender bender that somebody gets into, it's no longer $500 just to fix that bumper, right? You have to fix the bumper, recalibrate the sensors that are along with it. So that bumper that used to cost $500 is now easily $1,800 to fix, right? So those newer vehicles, they cost more to repair, but then like the premium on the older vehicles, depending on the age of the vehicle, it's a little bit more difficult to find parts for that particular vehicle once it hits a certain year. The cost to get the individual part increases as well.
Without naming brands, because I don't want to put anyone under the spotlight, but are there certain types of vehicles, model types? For example, SUV versus the four-door versus the two-door versus four-wheel drive. Are there certain types of vehicles that are more expensive than others when it comes to finding that car insurance?
Sure. I would say SUVs and trucks nowadays, right, are going to be a little bit more pricey than sedans, because you can't get a truck for less than $60,000 or an SUV for less than $50,000 nowadays. So it's also based on the cost of the vehicle as well. But so yes, SUVs and trucks tend to be a little bit more than sedans.
And if I buy a gasoline-powered hybrid or an electronic vehicle, are there variances there? Not saying one is better than the other, but should my expectation be that, hey, if I buy an electric vehicle, it may save me money on gas, but maybe fixing that car might take a little bit longer, may be a bit more expensive, or getting that battery, because I think a lot of the car,
Yes.
that battery is pretty big.
Oh, absolutely. And even with that, so the auto insurance itself, yes, there is going to be some variance based on the trim model, right, of it. But then when it comes to like the gas powered vehicles versus the battery powered vehicles, what we're seeing is that it's taking a little bit longer to repair those vehicles, because you can't take it to just any repair shop, right? You have to take that battery powered vehicle to a specific repair shop. And if there's not as many locations or not as many options, they're backed up. So we have found, it's not bad either way, but it may take a little bit longer for a battery powered vehicle if there is a claim. But from the insurance perspective, maybe slight variances in the monthly premium.
Yeah, and when it comes to the premium and setting the premium, how often does that change? Because my understanding is insurance, especially like car insurance, is regulated at the state level. So therefore, there's a process. You have to go to the state to regulator to get that approved. How often does an organization like a State Farm or an insurance company look at its rates? And so if I'm a customer, how would I know to go back and say, hey, I may want to adjust my rate? Should I look at my coverage?
Sure. That is more so on the corporate side versus like
Sure.
the agency side. But I would say, if anything, if you are looking at seeing what your rates are, it's always good. You can do it once a year, right? Or closer to your renewal. That's probably what I would recommend with that. But I don't know if I would recommend changing every renewal, right? Because one of the things that we look at that helps with your premium is your longevity, right? Are you somebody who is a constant shopper that jumps insurance every 6 months? Or do you have longevity with a company to where you're with them for longer than 1, 3, 5 years? So that is one of the factors when it comes to the rates of your auto premium. But when it comes to the rates for the state, that is something that's done on the corporate level.
Sure. Well, Ashley, I need to take a very quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about some tips and I wouldn't say tricks, but tricks to help lower your insurance premium. You're going to want to stay tuned right here on BRN AM. Now is your opportunity to co-create content around any topic on the First Lifestyle and Wellness Network. Reach a global audience through our platform and co-own exclusive branded content. All of our programs are available on demand and also as audio-only podcasts, so you can take us on the go. Broadcast Retirement Network, available anytime, anywhere, and on any device. Ashley, thank you so much for staying with us. Really appreciate you hanging around for segment number 2 this morning.
Absolutely. Happy to be here.
So, I think we talked about the who, the how, and the why, and things that people need to consider. Let's talk about some tips to get the best deal. And how often, I think you touched on this a little bit in segment 1, but how often should you, if you're a shopper, look at the marketplace?
I would say as little as you can do it every year, but honestly, 3 to 5 years is something that you could consider. But the thing is with that is like some of the discounts that companies offer, they don't start until year 3, year 5, year 10, or anything along those lines. So if you are shopping around every year, you're going to miss out on some pretty good discounts due to longevity with the same company.
Yeah, and you touched on longevity. Let's talk about bundling for a second. Does it still pay to bundle, for example, renter's insurance or life insurance or some other insurance with the car insurance? Do you truly get a better rate if you put it all together? Or have you seen examples where if you separate it and go to different companies for your different coverages, you get a better deal?
No, I'd say the best way to do it is to bundle it all under the same company, right? Especially like if you're a homeowner, bundling your auto and your home, that multi-line discount is going to apply to the auto as well as your home. And by having that, then you've got everything under one roof. So if you have any questions or anything along those lines, you're calling one company, right? But from the discount perspective, having everything together 100% is going to save you the most.
How important is claims history? So if I'm with another provider, someone hits me, so say it wasn't even my fault, I have a claim. How important is that claim history to getting a rate? Even if it's not my fault, does that if it's not my fault, does that help or hurt my claim even if I have a claim? I mean, not a claim, my rate.
No, so if it's not considered an at-fault accident, no, that would not impact your rates, right? Like you may need to provide some details to the representative that you're working for, explaining what exactly happened, but no, that does not have impact on your rate at all.
And does the credit rating, so say my credit rating, and I think does that have an impact? So if my credit rating is X, does that flow through to, because it impacts credit cards, and I'm thinking, does that impact auto insurance in any way?
That is one of the many, many factors that is included in what the rates and the premium for you. So yes.
Yeah, and when it comes to the coverages, I think a lot of times people maybe, in order to reduce their rate, may try to change their coverages or lower their coverages, but that can have a deleterious or negative effect
Yes.
if you are unfortunate and have an accident.
Absolutely. So a lot of times, like when people are setting their coverages, they're looking at price, right? That is the number one thing that they're looking for.
Sure.
But you got to look at insurance as a way of it's protecting you, right? So if you're a homeowner if you have rental properties or anything along those lines, you should not be driving around with state minimums by no means, because what you're doing is you're exposing yourself to when you do get into an accident, right? For that other person to be able to file a lawsuit against you, right? So your liability insurance on your auto insurance it's there to protect you in case the unexpected happens. And if you are underinsured and it does come claims time, the only thing that the insurance company we can do is we're only going to cover you up to your limit. And if the other driver comes after you and they're asking for more than what your insurance is covering, you are on the hook for that.
Yeah.
So I think, yes, saving money, but make sure that you're properly insured, because you're not going to think about your insurance until you have to use it. And if those coverages are not there when you have to use it, you are on the hook for any difference that you have. So
Yeah,
yes.
buyer beware. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
seriously.
like when you
Yeah.
start moving those. A lot of them have those radio buttons where you can move and drag and change your coverage. Just beware that you could be liable civilly and be
Yes.
sued personally. I guess last question, Ashley, and this is kind of a longer worded question. Let's talk about some of the tools that you can use and deploy to lower cost. I know that there are, I wouldn't call them chips, but things you can put in your car to monitor your driving. First, is that popular? Is that a popular option from your perspective? And two, how much of a difference can that mean for your premium?
Sure, absolutely. So what State Farm has is we have our Drive Safe and Save program. And what that allows you to do is that allows you to customize your rates based on your particular driving habits, right? So a lot of people, they do like using that if they're not on the road that much, or it brings awareness to how you're driving, right? So are you speeding? Are you taking right turns taking your turns sharply? Are you braking fast? All of that impacts your rates, but it gives you an initial discount, right, for the first 6 months, because we don't have any of your driving habits or anything like that. And then at your first 6 month renewal, it's going to look at your driving habits from the past 6 months, and then your discount is going to adjust. So what we're finding is that people do like that, because then they're in more control of what their rates are, versus not having that and just being a part of the statistic, right, of what the rates are for that area. And I've seen it. I just had somebody come in the other week and they were saving easily $250 on one vehicle for
Wow.
6 months, right? It brings awareness. And people like that, right? They like being in control and having the ability to get the best rate based on their particular driving habits.
Yeah, I
Absolutely,
mean,
that's important.
yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I would say that as a customer, I'd want as much control as possible. How about safe driving programs? Does that factor into, for example, the calculation? Like if I do online or a course, would that help bring down payment?
It would, yes. You'd have to check with North Carolina because each state is different, right? I know in South Carolina, there are different discounts, like safe driving programs that you can do based or through the DMV that you can apply to your auto insurance. Same thing for North Carolina. You just have to check with the DMV with what programs a state offers as well, because it's different between North and South Carolina.
And there may be rates for veterans. I'm just playing this
Mhm.
forward, veterans or recent college or high school graduates.
Yes, a little bit more so veterans, right?
Yeah.
Versus recent college grads. I mean, here in North Carolina, we don't really have like if you hit a certain age, your rate goes down like some other states do. They look more so at how long you've been driving with a US license. So,
Yeah. Well, I mean, people certainly should consider all options. And I'm sure that when they're working with someone like you or another agent, someone's going to put the information forward. And if not, you should be asking for it. Ashley, we're going to have to leave it there. Always great to see you. Thanks for the information and the analysis. And we look forward to having you back on the program again very soon.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Jeff. This has been great.
That wraps up this episode of BRNAM. Have a topic of interest, someone you think we should talk to? Drop us a line. And don't forget, for all the latest curated news in lifestyle, wellness, finance, tech, so much more all in one place, check out today's edition of our daily newsletter, The Morning Pulse. Want to search our archives, check out our latest content? Then visit our website. Hey, we're back again tomorrow for another edition of BRNAM. We'll have a very special guest and another important topic. Until then, I am Jeff Snyder. Stay safe, keep on saving. Don't forget, roll with the changes.